So we've cleaned this, we've dried it, and we've got the engine in a state now where I can start working on the stator end. The next thing I'm going to do is remove this. I have new bolts, some lovely nice Yamaha parts have come in, and I'm going to change the bolts and just see the condition of this as well. A bit of exploratory. I'm going to change the bolts and see the condition inside, and hopefully everything is good. Still working on this. The water pipe underneath needs to be removed, it's still jammed in there. We'll get to that later on. One-way slipping clutch. Starter plugs in the back here. Then it winds on this. And then this also generates the power in the coil here. Just going to remove the seal with a pick. This is the seal which I'll be replacing. Looking on the inside line, it's actually really clean, which means nothing has ever leaked past that O-ring, which is great. This is the old O-ring, and we have a nice new O-ring to go in. It's good to replace these things when they get to 12 years old, perish rubber. So, the nice new one is indeed very nice. Now, you're meant to always wet an O-ring with a bit of the oil it's going to be sealing it. And I'm going to apply some once it's in there. A little bit of engine oil here. This is a Yamaha engine oil. It's the same marine lube that is used in the engine. So just wet that out. I believe this is the first reassembly of the entire restoration. I'm excited. Got this stuff, it's just called blue marine grease. Non-water soluble semi-synthetic marine grease with a lithium and calcium base. Thick and blue. From -20 to 140. I think that'll be perfect to go around these edges to seal those pieces up. The next challenge is this water breather pipe, which has been stuck in here since the beginning. Now luckily I've managed to secure the head of the engine in this wooden vise, which gives me a chance to try and get that out. I'm going to replace the part so I don't mind damaging it. That's the first thing to note. Okay, that's good. We're getting it to turn. I'm just pulling upwards as I turn, and bam, it's out. Fantastic. Fantastic! Woohoo! This was the only last piece of fuckery in the build that was really causing problems. And it's out. As you can see, there was a lot of corrosion on this. Salt getting down in there, but we're going to replace this part and also this O-ring, and then we won't have that again. So now the head can be flipped both ways, completely flat, everything is removed. And earlier on, I did actually have quite difficulty removing this small dowel pin, which was there. I'm going to replace it, but it was very hard to get out as it was kind of totally seized welded in. I put this in it so that I could crush it onto something to pull it out. So now all of the problems with the head have been dealt with. The only thing left to do is check all the tolerances, skim it by sanding it, that'll be another video, and slowly start reassembling the rest of the engine bolts when they arrive. There's more bolts to go on this end, work on the oil pump. All of the bolts on the bottom are being replaced, and that is going to be resealed. So finally, it's come to the time where we've got some parts. We can begin reassembling the airbox. So this is the old air filter. As you can see, it's pretty disgusting. To go through a project on this level and not change it would be totally silly. So instead of just changing it, we're upgrading it. Right here we have a Riva Racing epoxy and metal filter, and these filters, they're actually cleanable, which this means this filter should last the lifetime of the ski going forward, and they're also a little bit better performance. They let a bit more air through, and the build quality just feels so much more superior to this thing. It does feel next level. So what we're going to do is we're going to fit this into the airbox. We're going to seal the airbox up. We're going to have that set aside, ready to go into the ski. Fits in perfectly. There's a small nodule on this side, and there's a small nodule on this side, but not on this side. So that shows our alignment. So to install these, we're going to use some red thread lock. So these were very rusted on the last time I took it out, so my plan for this is just to put a little bit of marine grease onto the head of each one, so that when it does get rinsed, and it will get rinsed, it won't go rusty so easily. So I just have some blue marine grease, we're going to just put that on. Here we have it, the reassembled air filter, ready to go back in the ski. See you in the next one.